What a wonderful day this has been. Um, Carrie opened with saying, she's got the best job in the world, which I've only heard you say 129 times. And I think, and she does. You have a great job, but you also know how to build a great team. And what a great program everyone has put together today. So let's say thank you to them. I have to tell you, I am overwhelmed by, as I listen to you, as I've listened to your questions, your comments. I'm like, gosh, there's so many smart people here who have their own experiences. And I'm going to talk. This is a potential theme that I'm going to pull out. So before I get to that, Orly Bills. Hey, way to go. There's times in your life you meet, you get introduced to someone, you're like, why haven't I gotten to know that person before? And I've actually had that experience today, Orly. So I feel like I want to hang out. Hey, real quick and super quick. So I'm a pediatrician and practiced for 15 years in general peds. It was great to see Neil. Neil, I thought we were not going to be able to hire Neil as he came out of training, but somehow I twisted his arm and sat on him enough and got him to say yes. So it was so good to see him. To run into Emmy Gardner, who she and I have been running into each other for 30-something years, and so I think one theme that I would say is we were talking, I was saying, wow. We talked about some of this stuff, not this stuff, but stuff, right? How do you make things better for people 15, 20 years ago? And as I watch some of you, especially the younger folk here, digging into that, I'm like, okay, we're good. Generation after generation is just going to keep moving forward. So thank you all for that. So a little bit, I'm going to hit a couple themes, but I got some trivia questions too. So, and there are prizes. Well, if you listen to Wait, Don't Tell Me, it's those types of prizes. You get points. Okay. So actually, let's do the first trivia questions. This goes all the way back to very early in the day. Who remembers in the artwork that was shown the funny colored hair that one of the kids had? What was the color? Green. 10 points. 10 points. There you go. Okay. All right. The other thing that we started with was the theme of hope. And it was in the middle. And it's here at the end as well. So I think that's such an important feeling to have. And so, if you've been breathing in the joy and the sadness, the laughter, the moments of, oh my gosh, how are we going to do that? All those feelings, all of those things, though, net out, at least for me, and I think for a lot of you, this feeling of hope. Keeping families together, super important theme. But even beyond that, I hope your idea, I'm going to move over this way. I hope your idea of who is part of your family has broadened, especially in the most challenging moments of life and even in daily life. So this idea of the family and the community, there was this theme of the community as the caregiver. And so I think that's an important one to take forward also. Okay, trivia. Who wrote Les Mis? Victor, here you go. 15 points. Was that you, Jan? No? Oh, okay. All right. I'm trying to think of one that maybe would be hard. I mean, I thought that would be a pretty hard one. Okay. I think this is my hardest one. What classic game console was on the T-shirt of one of the parents in the video? There was even like young people who answered that question. So, okay. So there was I think it was Dr. Bernstein. Is Dr. Sir? So you talked about a home visit you did, and I also did home visits as a pediatrician. Um, when I was in practice, I collected like 4 sets of triplets in 3 years, and after the first visit after their NICU stay was mom and her mother and 3 kids and 3 car seats and 3 oxygen tanks and 3 50-foot oxygen tubes coming down the hall of my clinic. And I said, that is the last time they're ever coming to clinic. But that was the reason I started to do them. So the rule of my practice was if you had triplets, you got home visits. So, and it was great. It was great. And I would say that the empathy and understanding you have for what is really happening is that's the only way to truly get there. Now, there was a question, well, how can we make this happen? And I would say you could wait till some committee gives you permission, or you could just go do it, right? So I don't see any reason why Clinic 6 at the U or anyone else is part of. I even made this kind of mental note to talk to Brian Good about this, who's a pal of mine. Why not do home visits? You'll learn a lot. Riley, your themes. Oh, trivia. What's Riley's middle name?
Smiley. I wish that was my actual legal middle.
Riley is a quote machine. Okay, that might be your new nickname. But your idea, and you hit this several times, and this theme came up multiple times. Ask me. So don't, like in this moment, I don't really need expertise. I just need you to ask me. And so it struck me that we've always talked about teamwork in healthcare, at least in these last couple of decades. But we've really talked, as I mentioned before, this idea that the community is really the caregiver, the community around you. But another important concept that I heard from you, Riley, and others, Sonia, I heard it from you, was that everybody has to be willing. So the community is made up of experts, but as an expert, it's important that I show up recognizing that I might be an expert in general pediatric care, but you're the expert in the care of your son, right? And so I do have much to learn. We have much to learn in those moments. And hopefully I can share a little bit of what I know, but boy, you actually are the expert here. And that theme is, I just think for everyone that's going to be part of the healthcare team and community, we have to be willing to do any job of any expert in that community. So, I'm not an expert in social work. I don't have the same capacity to really look at someone in a holistic way. As I listen to all of you speak today, I'm just so impressed and even envious of how this is your profession, your career, this is what you've trained on, you've learned in good ways and in hard ways how to do this. But boy, in my moments, I got to be able to do your job. And just for a little bit, I have to be, like birthday party capable. All right? I don't have to be a master of social work. I don't have to have a master's, but I got to be birthday party capable. So I think that's the key to a giving and caring community. What was the color of the graduation gown of the boy that was helped by Holy Cross? Was it green? Teal. That's right. That's right. I'm like, I was thinking kind of blue, but it was teal. Right. Thank you. Woof. Yeah. Whoa. That's like when you're looking for that one special yellow color, like someone says, it's chartreuse. I'm like, yes, that's it. That's it. Riley, when you said, he may not be able to talk, but dang, is he loud? That just kind of reinforces this idea of the parents and family as the expert. So thank you for that. Okay. One thing, we've met in the hospital setting, and we've had these great stories of very complex medical problems that are very external and seen. But it dawned on me as I was listening to Dr. Davis and Dr. Giardino about how broadly applicable and really humanistic these ideas are. And that there's complex medical conditions for almost everybody in some ways. And for a lot of kids, they're just not seen, but yet they are still experiencing the stressors and the adverse events in their lives. And it also struck me, especially in my work now, as I'm in a role where we're focusing on helping older adults live good, healthy lives, age in the best way possible. I can't tell you how many times as we've worked with people that some of the root cause of their challenges actually do come all the way back to childhood, as Dr. Giardino was talking about. So the theme here is one of that the ideas that are being discovered and discussed here, yes, are super important in this hospital setting, but also broadly applicable across across everybody. Honor the family, honor the culture. Heard that. What's Jose Rodriguez's new nationality? No, his new one. He's Mexican. Jose's the best. Is Jose still here? He had to take off. Okay, last trivia question. What island reef did someone's leg get cut on? Tonga. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Carrie, check the box that everyone was paying attention today, right? Yeah. Okay. So what's next? So I think Carrie, she kind of made fun of me because we were in a planning meeting, and it's like, and I think it went something like you shared the program, and I said, well, what is next? So what? So what? We gathered here. What's next? And Carrie's solution to that was she asked me to do this. So again, brilliant leadership, right? So it is easy in these moments to feel good about what we talked about, but then you just put it in the drawer and nothing happens. And I would say my first ask of all of you is let's not let that happen. Another common feeling at this moment is you're thinking about, my gosh, this is a big policy discussion and this is going to take years and it's complicated, and how are we going to do that? And yes, we have to do that work, but don't let that hard thing and that complex thing prevent you from taking action. The most contagious thing is not a virus. The most contagious thing for humans are ideas. The more we talk about the ideas that were shared here today, the more they will spread. I try not to do too much social media because I am of a certain vintage, but you know how ideas spread on social media in both good ways and bad ways. So I think the most important thing I'm going to ask of all of you is what's the one thing you could even write down tonight, if you journal or if you just think about your day, meditate, but what is the one thing you could do different or try related to the ideas that we have talked about today that that would be something new for you. One that I thought was, when a child enters a room, I'm going to make sure that I recognize them in some way. So there's a lot of little things we can do here. Another theme was or is that there is complex work to do, but there are some simple things we can all do. Like Dr. Davis talked about, giving a book to a child. It's a pretty simple thing. It makes such a huge difference. Well, it turns out that might be a simple thing, but when we understand what's actually happening in that moment, and in the moments where a parent or an adult is reading to a child, what we realize is there's something extraordinarily complex going on there in terms of their own development. But it's a simple thing we can do. So that would be my ask and challenge of all of you. And one idea that I have thought about is, how can we continue to share ideas and continue the conversation over time? And we batted a few ideas around. So I guess what I would commit to is, this will not be the last you'll hear from us about this topic, and it won't be until next year that until the next conference. You'll hear from us before then, and we'll try to model this idea of doing something different and continuing to share ideas. Oh, I think I do want to touch on this last theme of resiliency and self-care, and the ideas of, it's really is a theme of the more that we can empower people in their own self-care, the self-care of their family, and knowing that every action we take in every moment is going to contribute to that. Those are the types of things that do have lots of good returns over time. So the more capacity we can create in those moments, I think is a really important theme. I got to tell you, the resiliency discussion was extremely interesting, and I'm also now a little bit confused about the whole resiliency thing, which is great, right? Because you all, what you have done is you're making me rethink things, which is such an important thing to do. I'm going to finish up with just one thing here, and I want you to think back to Mr. Martinez's comment about it. This is what you said. You said, "We're stronger together." Think about Remy and the community of people that you've built, and breathe as you think about that. Think about that moment. Breathe that in, because I think that feeling and what you're breathing in is hope. Or it's a beginning place where you can begin to think about, where can I become more hopeful? So thank you for sharing that. That was a really special moment. It's such an honor for me to be part of Ronald McDonald House Charities. I love the fact that so many community organizations are here today. I really think that the more medical teams can think about a patient family as they come into the hospital or come into our clinics, as not them coming to us for us to share our expertise, but actually they're here for a moment. We actually should begin preparing them for broadening and strengthening their community, because most of the care happens outside of these four walls. So I love the fact that so many of these groups are here today. Carrie, Tony, team, again, thank you. All of you, thank you for spending time. It's been an amazing exchange of ideas. Let's keep sharing. Thank you.